Thanks for watching that break. We are getting into a brand new best of 5, Solar versus GuMiho. This is that's the base rate TV one. Sorry guys, I got all these different scenes set up, and by habit I keep going back to ours. But luckily, this is the only one that matters. Also, let's remove Rogue's name from the overlay. Him having qualified and all, we won't be seeing it again anytime soon. But map number 1 in another qualifying match to see which of these two will join the likes of Rogue in IEM Shanghai. In the lower right, we do have Storm Gaming's Red Terran GuMiho.
In the top, in the top left, has the red Zerg, it is Splice Solar.
GuMiho has been so on freaking fire lately. He is, of course, recently GSL badass,
Game
what I'll call it.
paused.
Oh, sorry, needs a bit of pause. But I discussed this with some other folks this past weekend. It's a real hot streak for GuMiho this past month, even a little bit longer, I'd say. And the question really is this something he's going to keep up, or is this just like a burst of success for the time being? Because GuMiho's always been all around a good player, but lately he's been an all-around great player.
Game resumed.
Yeah, he has been playing fantastic. He looks like not just... It doesn't look like a stroke of luck. It's not his weird builds, which he was most known for the past 6-7 years. It's his actual skill now as well. Like his micro and macro look on par to Bjorn's.
We're going to have something comparable to Bjorn with the Reaper opener, and Solar comparable with Rogue. But to the note of GuMiho, leading up to the GSL finals, we got to actually see GuMiho play against Sue. Like both of them going to the finals, both of them playing a best of 5, like almost 2 nights beforehand in the Ulima League. But the GuMiho's never been scared to show his builds. He's always playing all the time. I think if he was a bigger streamer, we'd probably see him streaming all the time too, right? Like he's just good, so there's nothing for him that he needs to hide. And it's so egotistical to phrase it like that, even though he's probably a very humble guy about it. But he's just been so good, and he's been playing in everything. And well, now we'll get to see if his Reapers are better than Bjorn's, at least for today.
Yeah, not to oversell this guy too much, because of course he could lose, but I just feel like, Beyond Innovation, so well known for just having perfect macro and micro, and that's how they win. Although Innovation did start to innovate. GuMiho, I think it's rare to find a guy that is known for being wacky and weird, who ends up perfecting his skill set years later. This guy's been in StarCraft 2 since the very beginning. You'd think he'd be a little worn out, or even people would even call him old, I guess, whole esports being young people stuff, but now he's better than ever. So I have pretty high hopes he'll win against Solar. Of what the score will be, not quite sure yet, but Solar is responding to this with a Roachhorn. I think he's responding, but he is South the Overlord.
I like this. I like this so much because it's a validity for the fact that I've been told I'm an idiot about calling roaches so many times as a counter to this, but secondly and more importantly, it is just a good counter. It's a good way to react to it, and I think that if Solar can play this the same way, any similar to Rogue, he'll have not too much issue shutting this down. But the question for us is, like, we saw Bjorn going 5 racks Reaper and committing hard. Does GuMiho do that, or does he only go to 9 and transfer out? Like, what's GuMiho's game plan for this?
Well, we can't say quite yet. Oh, no, yes, we can. There's a factory.
Yeah, so he's not going to be going too heavy on the Reapers.
Well, wait a second here. So I brought this up yesterday in the very small amount of time I got to cast. I'll bring it up again because we're actually casting GuMiho. GuMiho had a Reaper drop build in the GSL. He got to Starport, but he continued making Reapers, and I see him continuing to make Reapers, not add-ons.
Ah, you know what? That's a good point. I didn't get to catch that game because I'm awful, but that's that. Okay, well, here's some add-ons.
There's one.
Still,
yeah, we'll see if he continues making Reapers, because he might have even started no, there's Marines. All right, so not quite the same thing, but it was cool.
Yeah, it was the regular way to go about this, just the hype of what he could have possibly done different was there. And I mean, I would love to have seen it, obviously. I could probably check out the VODs at some point, but yeah, the Marine transfer out of this, so it's just 9. It's just 9 Reapers, and that's it.
He might still use it to the same effect, though, because like, one of the beautiful things of any Terran, I guess, who does the Reaper thing is they can pair up the Reapers. It's just a question of do they have the control to make Reapers the new Widow Mine or whatever you want to call it, right? Like, their grenades actually hit the important units, and are they used effectively?
Well,
whereas some of the Terrans just use them for shields and back attacks.
I want to get back to Solar for a moment, though. This is kind of interesting. He didn't make that many Roaches and Ravagers. Like, this was definitely not a reaction to a 5 racks all in. This is like a just fend off the Reapers move. It still cost him a lot of drones. He's only just now getting that drone lead. Lair on the way, too. So this is something where he has absolutely survived the Reapers. But will he be well enough to set up for that follow-up push? If this ends up being like Beyond 2, where it's like the parade push down the middle and not through drops, this could be really scary, because that's where Roaches and Ravagers will not be effective.
Yeah. When the Terran player transfers out like this, it's not really a question of did I survive it, did I do well enough macro-wise?
Oh, he still might do this Reaper drop that you had spoke of, by the way. It looks like that's what this is setting up for.
A single one, but still, this is a different way to play with them, and I love it. It's like, ends up being perfect, too, because it lost one Reaper. Are you kidding me? Okay, well, that happens. I mean, the thing is, like, when it was 2 medevacs, it looked so silly, but even with 1, just, you know, the healing can work out very well, but I would say more so against Ling play. You know, the Ravagers obviously got a couple shots there and instantly killed one.
Yeah, the Roaches can take a hit, whereas Lings normally cannot so much.
But distraction tactics. So it looks a little weird seeing only 1 medevac pop out from a starport, because, you know, TVZ is usually all about that reactor. But it will be followed up soon enough with another 2 medevacs and Marines. There'd CC, only a single engineering bay? No, there we go. +1 armor.
I like this, though, in terms of, like, whether it's Reapers poking grenades at the front or that awkward as heck drop in the back. He doesn't know that Solar's playing the worker count behind this. As far as he was aware, there's a big Roach army that he had to distract and keep from coming down the map, right? So this both did and didn't work out, I guess, that way, but Solar's also on his way to a pretty quick infestation pit. He's still continuing with Roaches. He's getting the upgrades for them now, too, so I think we're going to see that Snoot style of play here. A little bit different than most will do, but it works out really well if you get those fungals and corrosive bile combinations.
Viking doing a decent job here. She's getting quite a few overlords. Distracting once again. Reapers coming into the left side with their medevac trailing behind. At this point, if they just get 3 tumors, that's good enough too, I suppose.
It's so weird watching the bombs go off and the Reapers are like all inside the medevac already gone.
Yeah. GuMiho set up his 3rd base. Gens are still killing overlords. That's gonna be 4 overlords.
Yeah, it's gonna be the 4th one.
It's not too shabby. There's a couple more he could definitely reach out to. That's an effective Viking right there.
I'm still trying to get over this Reaper drop play. It's not entirely necessary, but what it does do that normally Reapers hopping up and down a cliff don't do is it guarantees the escape to be instant, whereas Reapers otherwise have to straight up run. But bleeding them out 1 or 2 here and there, it's been really funny watching this.
Yeah, I can't believe only 1 died. Not job loss, but there we go. This is where things maybe start to get a little more hectic. Not only has that Viking just paid for itself and killed a bunch of overlords, it's also cleared the way for more drops. 5. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of when I said they'd find another one.
I don't know that I've seen a Viking kill 5 in a while. Well, 4 is usually a bit of a high score.
It's GuMiho, and he was the guy that ended up killing 20 overlords or something with like his mass air army, so sounds about right.
Well, Reaper's jumping back in for round 17.
Yeah, Distraction sees the army is all right there, and this army is a lot scarier. It can kill structures, of which it goes to the evolution chamber.
Oh, denying +1 is very nice.
Yeah. There's really not that many queens, so getting out is not a problem. And GuMiho has been building his tank count, so he's already at 3. He's going to have a pretty swift push with 2-2 on the way, I would say, because it's only just started, but still. Honestly, Solar trying to get up to that hive, I guess, for Ultras. Hasn't really been able to use his investors quite yet, just never in the right position.
I guess this is what I like about this sort of taking advantage of Solar's playstyle. You know, when it's not Lings and Banelings, you don't have the speed to bounce from base to base. You've got the strength to take on any army, but unless there's a fungal to catch him, yeah, the Queen goes down out here. Tumor's getting cleaned up, do a couple drones on his way out.
The Overlord.
Oh, GuMiho is so good lately. I'm loving this.
Yeah. These are slow Overlords. This one's gonna go down too. Oh no! Oh, come on, why not? Alright, well that one lives.
Where's the Viking?
Mercy.
Finish him off.
Exactly, where's the Viking? Still keeping this one alive.
Where is the Viking? Up here. 5 kills, yeah.
He deserves to have a nice, restful holiday. I suppose.
He gets to retire.
An Abyssal Reef. Yeah. You do it. It's also really nice about Medivacs. They save you from being splashed by your grenades.
So yeah, that's true. One of the things that was changed recently was they made the Roach Burrow a little bit easier to look for, but typically players aren't going for it in this matchup, so you know, you're not usually looking for it.
He wasn't looking for it, so they managed to get into the mineral lines, but he had missile turrets clearly for it. Still, the detection just needs to get his units in position.
Oh yeah, you're right. This is not like a Mutalisk missile turret.
No, there's one of the natural too, just not in the main. Well, the army is on its way to the front, and 2-2 is finishing up.
GuMiho's missing concussive shells.
That is an oversight.
Oh wait, or is he? No, he's got it. I guess Roaches with speed or just Burrow's speed or just so fast.
That was, yeah. Well, GuMiho has to do a pretty slow siege hop. He was caught pretty early on in his attempts to move to that ledge. And this has given Solar a lot of time to get his ultras. He's got a bank, but he's maxed out, so he needs to take a fight first, but they're going to have chitinous plating whenever he does. Maybe Max goes through.
You know, fungal growths are a big part of why the Marines have to split like this. It's almost counterintuitive because they're not clumped up. It's not going to be that amazing double baneling hit that we see down here. Although maybe on the reinforcements.
That is a pretty large Roach army going undetected by GuMiho's reinforcements. That's certainly enough to pull back most of GuMiho's army, or else he's going to give up a base.
Keep waiting for these banelings to explode or something. A lot of SCVs being picked off too on the transfer, not just the base.
Solar is making this into even more of an all-in than I guess it was with GuMiho lifting his main. I feel like GuMiho's army wasn't quite good enough, but he is pushing into a choke now.
Oh god. Yo, this is really cool. A lot of praise has been going out to GuMiho this game, but these burrowed roaches out of Solar have been doing magic in terms of distraction. GuMiho, though, with the tanks set up the way they are, there's just no easy way for Solar to engage these. So, well, he might be doing a great job over here. He's still not doing a great job over here.
Yeah. I think obviously having a lot of army pulled back to deal with that is a big detriment to GuMiho, but I'm thinking more to just the tank count.
Ooh.
You know, like 6 tanks compared to 4 is actually kind of a big deal with this choke set up here, so he's finally starting to reinforce. He just kind of gives up on keeping his production alive.
You know what,
the
tanks work kind of like Marauders, and they soaked up most of the banelings of the Marines just kind of hid in the back.
This is close to working, and I did not see that.
Fungal was good. +3 armor finishes up too, so now these ultras are fully upgraded. Swarmhost misclick with 6 more ultras on the way too. GuMiho is starting to run out of steam, and let's not forget, Solar did a ton of damage to him. He's left with 11 workers on the other side of the map. In fact, everything here in the main is starting to go down. It's going to include production, so these roaches have really been paying off for Solar.
Well, I hate to go back to the same number, but I really feel like if 6 tanks were out here, and he didn't get that one fungal, he's missing a lot of bio army. Maybe he takes out the rest of the ultras, but such a small army, not that many tanks, one even goes down here. Solar does have this, but damn, GuMiho made it close.
I want to see him use that swarm host.
Use it. No. Of course, Solar also has another base. I guess like 2 bases went down, not just the natural, but the 4th sniped off by a drop. Now Solar's going to maybe lose his 5th, but his army is so big and it's so good.
Yeah, GG. GuMiho doing a lot of great things that game, but Solar ultimately winning out. I mean, the thing is, I feel Solar wasn't doing nearly as flashy things, so it was a lot easier to talk about GuMiho, but again, like the burrowed roach tactics, a couple of potential bailing mine setup. He was doing a lot of very subtle things, I guess you could say, that game.
Yeah. Well, I think just doing the tunneling claws against someone who's very all in, like was waiting for that one big push, is always pretty effective. If GuMiho was building a fourth as a planetary and a fifth and a sixth and like transferring over into liberators and stuff, I don't think its telling clause is as effective. All right.
Well, aside from the initial Rogue qualifier into the semis, no other matches have been determined yet. Young and Dark are playing, Maru and Trust are playing. We, of course, are casting Solar versus GuMiho. After this, we'll be delving into the lower bracket, aka the losers bracket. We don't know what matches are down there yet, though, because they're all still being sorted out and figured out as we push forward. But you'll note that there are 10 total spots available. There's going to be this really weird, almost like second bracket made for the 9th and 10th place spots in the tournament.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, but I guess it does kind of make sense. It's
not kind of weird. It's definitely weird.
Yeah, but
it doesn't mean bad. Just means weird.
Yeah, I feel there's just usually not that many people actually qualifying in a tournament these days. It's top 4 for the other tournaments usually. Top 10 or whatever. It's weird. Well, okay.
Game number 2 in this best of 5 kicks off on the top right. See if he goes. Oh, actually, he's not. So never mind. It's gonna be the blue Terran GuMiho.
Are you following an SCV? This isn't you.
Not.
Okay, good. In the bottom left, as the red Zerg, it is Solar. I guess. Okay.
I would have hoped that for years of observing my camera, you would know.
Well,
better.
no, I was concerned that it was a new bug. Like if I just stayed on someone's camera, like they would just like go back and forth. But I guess Naruto actually follows an SCV when he opens his like I don't even know, man. But it was laggy and it was bad, and it is a 3 racks.
He may have been following just to see if that was going to be the case. I was going to mention at the start, actually, a proxy. I wasn't so much concerned about pointing out like a 3 racks or not. This does seem to be the trend amongst the top tier Terrans, where it doesn't have to be a proxy. A 3 racks can still just be a 3 racks. But I was wondering if GuMiho was going to shake that up or not. But with only the one SCV having been sent out, I glanced past it. So no need to follow that SCV, in my opinion.
Well,
but
we said. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah. I was wondering in this best of 5, and it is still more games to go, if GuMiho was going to throw up Mech, the 3x Reaper. Not so much. Not this time. I don't know what the rest of the maps are. I did not look far enough into the future, but I hope that he does. It's not just that. I know I can as referee. That's my skill, but no one else. But I think that he will, and that he should. He has mech pushes that are very, very scary. But Solar might be that one guy who actually knows to go swarm hosts, or is comfortable going swarm host. That is. Another game, another time, another life. Maybe it could have been.
Yeah, Solar actually, it's funny. I think not just through his capability of speaking English, but the fact that he's played off server for a lot of these other tournaments before joining Splice. He's got a lot of connectivity with the foreign scene. So being able to play Swarmhouse correctly might just have a lot to do with actually interacting with the foreign Zerg.
Yeah. Well, no return this time. His Overlord does see triple racks. And he still goes for a 3rd hatch. That's bold, Solar. Not just a 3rd hatch, he also manages to squeeze in a couple of drones, too.
Well,
Link defense.
It is all going to be on the back end of Lings here. Speed's not done. He tries to get up here to pre-catch the Reapers, but he's a little bit out of position for it. The lack of creep spread, just this little gap, is all the difference of Queens even getting here or not.
Yeah. Speed is going to finish up soon, but there's really not that many Lings, so GuMiho would be able to escape, at least. But I think he really wants to get that Queen, at least an opportunity. And that 2nd Queen pops out, a little too scary at that point. Still has more Reapers joining up here, and he knows that it's a Ling-based defense, so I think he's going to be looking for at least a trade or 2. But Solar, fit in that 3rd base, go on for Live Cheaper now. GuMiho is macroing to Factory.
It was kind of interesting. You know, you got Queen on dire straits. Do you go for the injector or do you save for the transfuse? I guess in every situation early on when you need Lings, Inject's always going to be better, but man, it's so scary. Like, it's just so many Reapers. It's got to be so daunting to look at that and be like, I guess I'll just Inject.
Yeah. Of course, GuMiho's probably going to be scared anytime the Lings aren't right on top of him, so he pulls back. Plus, that third base was already so healthy.
This is going to be a pretty nice surround, but I think with the grenades bouncing everybody, like, even though the Reapers die, they do a lot of damage on their way out.
Oh, that was not what GuMiho was hoping for, though. I think, one, he wants to continue using them as he has before, but also just, there was supposed to be a ledge to hop up on to at least, you know, maximize the Reaper's damage, and that just wasn't the case. That's not so good. And Solar gets away with the third base. Like, if the Reapers had gone there first, that could have been canceled. But of course, they went for the main instead, and now he can drone as he's pushed the Reapers all the way back. Now, GuMiho, this game didn't add on the tech lab for Stim. Now he does. But he waited a little while longer. Third CC on location, too. I wonder. Double drops. I'm hoping for it. I think after losing so many Reapers, though, you can't really do it. Yeah, one medevac, one Viking. Okay.
Womp, womp.
I don't know, man. I think if you didn't lose those Reapers, whatever. Well, the Viking was very effective last game for opening up pathways as well as just getting a lot of kills. Solar is perhaps going to let that happen again. I mean, you need vision, so it's always like, do I put the Overlords out there or don't I? Do they die to a Viking or they actually give me the vision that I need? And, well, currently there's like 4 or 5 Vikings that GuMiho would be able to kill. But Solar is not playing to Roaches this game. He has a Banelane S on the way. And lane Bane, lane Muta. I assume. I guess we did see Hydras from Rogue.
Rogue's style of play was really cool, and I thought very unique. I don't imagine we're going to see another Zerg players, even someone as good as Solar, mimicking that anytime soon. That is something where every Zerg player out there should be so jealous that we have the replay backs.
Viola also was a guy going for those Hydras. He was like the first Korean that I saw do it months ago in Cactus Valley. And that's when it's real, guys. The Korean does it.
I mean, it's kind of true. It's silly the way you say it like that, but that's how it is a lot of the time.
It is. And it's like, you know, in a funny way, though. Like, I'm like... It is, but should it be? Like, like when the Koreans finally pick something up that's smart, like Swarm Hosts or Roach Ravager Infester or whatever else the foreigners on first, that really be the point at where it's given credibility? Well, it is Aspire, so standard way to play. He's certainly got time to comfortably get to that, plus Banelings, plus the very good drone count of 74 and a 4th base. The Reaper drop, as always, is interesting and fun and pretty cool, but it's not life-threatening for Solar. And, I mean, when GuMiho decides to push out, when he does have Stim, 1-1, whatever, that's a long map to get through.
Oh, that was cool. Grenade in the pickup. I'm starting to see a lot of merit to this medevac with the Reapers. You know, every time you told me about it for the Sioux finals, the GSL, I couldn't help but think a little bit like, okay, maybe it had something to do with very specifically Sioux, but just generally speaking, the quick pickup, the immediate escape, Liberator coming down over here, it's a constant distraction tactics. Liberator over here as well.
I forget who it was, but someone brought up the speed of the Reapers as well, which I didn't really like see so much as a problem as it's, you know, regen or the grenades, but the speed combined with the medevac, I guess, makes it a little bit easier for them to get out and go.
He did a little bit of medevac micro, by the way, just a little bit, like 1 pickup, and that was all it took to kill all those Lings.
He's got a lot of drones. Like, those Liberators did some serious work.
Okay, well, it's going to finally be the end with the Mutas popping out, but Jesus, he took out a lot. Not just, the drone count fell heavily, the Lings were cleaned up. This was such a disgustingly good attack out of GuMiho.
Yeah. Even 1 or 2 eggs that were Mutas, I think, were canceled, so this was a very, very good attack. And GuMiho is now with combat shields, so a push could be on the way, but as I said, like being sequencer, it's a long push to do. He's got a lot of Widow Mines, though, and as long as those don't die on the front lines to Banelings, then this is it's going to be a foothold, a real foothold on Solar's 3rd, I'm guessing. There's not a lot of creep spread. 1 scan on the plateau is going to take care of it. And what is Solar going to do? Looks like he's setting up an attack with the Mutas and Lings. try and pull GuMiho back. You know the mutas are there. Why would you? Okay, good. The medevac was still going right for it, man.
Yeah, he's burrows 2 wood mines, hoping to catch some units. So I was a little bit worried, like he knocked down those rocks to open the doorway. Did he build the wall up behind it? Thank goodness he did, otherwise this would be a pretty scary run by.
Yeah. He only saw the mutas, but I think he just, knew that there would also be Lings trying to pull him back. Very nicely done. At least his widow mines, but luckily he has a lot of them, so it's okay if they get cleaned up, I suppose. He cleaned up the creep spread, seems to be good enough with that. Doesn't want to overstay his welcome. Almost catches the Ling run by coming back home. And clearing up creep spread, but now the rest of his reinforcements are here. The mutas could try and counter as much as they want, but they're not that high in number. Like 11 is like the good number, but not devastating. So reinforcements and a missile turret should be plenty.
He's got some SCVs that are following other SCVs, by the way.
Oh, that's 60 varsity counts, really 62.
No, it's silly Beyond. Or GuMiho, excuse me. Got Beyond on the brain still.
Yeah. It looks like GuMiho not going to try and win with 3 bases. I do think that's the smarter move. I think he was pushed back so early with the Reapers that the momentum was never really there, even though the drop Liberator combination was really good. So going for a 4th CC, 2nd factory already done, building drilling claws and a Thor, getting to what is borderline a perfect army and then pushing. Seems like a smarter game plan a lot of the time.
So, by the way, a little annoying. I guess these random wood mines have been catching the odd Mutalisk. But unlike that game with Rogue, Solar very quickly getting that Overlord speed means the overseers can finally keep up. 3 missile turrets, 2 Widow mines. GuMiho has put up a no Mutalisk allowed sign.
This is really important. I think not just in Legacy of the Void, right? In every single expansion, the way that Mutilating Bling would try and survive would be eventually through massing mutas and just constantly counterattacking. And GuMiho is not letting that happen. It's a big map. There's a lot of avenues that Solar should be able to get through, and he can't.
You mentioned it's a big map, and Solar's got a lot of his Lings on the left side of the field right now.
Yeah. Yeah, those should be moving. Either trying to counter already or like setting up what could be a back attack, a surround. There they go. They are going to be looking for what I guess is the 4th base. Not quite down location, though. It only just finished building in that 3rd. And GuMiho is just, he's keeping reinforcements at home, which I think makes the style that Solar's trying to go for a little less scary. He's also got so many Widow Mines that planting them around the map is not as devastating as it could be if you were like 3 base all-inning, and needing every single Widow Mine possible.
Well, these two just got a pretty good combination of 18 kills.
What's funny though is that he has nothing but factory units.
The other Widow Mine has 0. I've never seen a Widow Mine fire, get a hit, and have 0 kills before.
Yeah. Oh, that's so dangerous with GuMiho.
The drilling claws too, I guess, is a little alarming because you don't normally see it. So quick repositioning won't be a problem.
Oh yeah. I said that's a little bit dangerous, but there aren't any Banelings anyways, and he wouldn't know that they were all there, so that ends up working very well.
He almost killed the Thor with his Widow Mines. One of the Lings did damage to it.
Yeah. Whereas GuMiho was prepping for the late game, so was Solar. Hive done, Ultra Squadron done, building all of his upgrades. Not too far behind on the 3-3. Well, 3 Carapace at least. Not 3 attack. But creep spread has certainly been stalled out. That's not something that Solar can ever depend on. And since he didn't go into like heavy Mutalisk, that isn't so much a concern for GuMiho anymore. I think he's kind of dealt with that period of time where run by is the thing that's going to kill you.
Oh, this gigantic army is going to be met with another gigantic army, and this is what makes StarCraft 2 so awesome.
Gotta make sure to split those Widow Mines. I saw a universe where all of them are on the front lines and gonna die. Pull those Marines back, but still has a hefty army.
He's got the Thor in the back line too, so even if the mutas come in, there's going to be that anti-air damage. There's a lot of Widow Mines placed. I mean, the magic number is 4 for splash, but uh-oh, he's got to pick up and get out of there.
Yeah, he just lost too much bio. Widow Mines getting pop-offs, not too shabby, and even kind of using the choke for the Thor here. He's trying to get away with the at least the medevacts. There's so many of them.
Hello,
but
Viking.
even getting away with some of the army. Yes, well, I think he F2'd at some point, right?
I'm just expecting that Viking to be dead at this stage of the
Yeah, yeah. Well.
Continue to produce Thors I like quite a bit. You'll note that there's not really a lot of upgrades, but he did go for vehicle plating. So, yeah, the medevac's get armor. The Widowmines get some armor. But that Thor that already has a lot of extra armor, that's going to be such a great wall to have on the front line. I think just 2 or 3 of those would be just fantastic.
Thors feel very safe. Sometimes they really suck, don't get me wrong, but they feel like they should be very safe. But GuMiho, I thought he had a pretty good-looking push there. Was cleaned up with not too much hassle. He's still playing the macro game with the 5th base on the way, and Liberators finally, but he never really truly got to that late stage. Like, I don't see Starports, basically, or Ghost Academy, but thinking more to the Starports. Just the single.
If one Widowmine hit can make you feel like that, imagine what 4 feels like.
Oh, man. That's 2 Widowmine hits.
Was it 2? That was just the 1. Okay. Either way, yeah, it's going to take a lot more to actually kill the mutas. But he's been grabbing 1 or 2 here and there. It's always been a pretty good trade, trading a 1 Widowmine for 1 muta. 19 Widowmines have died so far this game, and I'm a little bit sad that the production that's been lessened because there's emphasis here on Thors and such.
Well, he does have 2 factories, so...
Going for air weapon upgrades? I guess
sure.
he's thinking about Liberators?
Yeah, he has some, but, you talked about lessening the Widowmine production. There we go again on those, but not very consistent Liberator production. I'm really worried that GuMiho doesn't have quite an answer to late game.
He just transfer... Oh, he's going to try and snipe off the Overseer.
Okay.
It's like, why would you transfer the Thor? This is
yeah. Okay, well... As I was saying, I'm worried that GuMiho doesn't have the late game army that he needs. Now, a mass Marauder army with Widowmines even, too, on a ramp can kill an Ultra army. But
I want to
it's
see,
not
mass Marauder Thor. That would be dope.
Yeah, it's not usually the standard way to go, and it can be very tricky, because then suddenly Lings and Banelings actually aren't that bad. When you try and clump up specifically against the Ultras, the Banelings are effective again. Well, we'll see how it plays out. Both armies very scary here.
Drop on the left side already caught. Ultras and Banelings move into position.
The mutas are moving and grooving, and they can't quite catch what they need.
27 Marauders. That is some Ultralisk focus fire killing units. Baneling's gonna catch the... Oh,
are you serious?
that's a weirdly perfect placement.
I know, right? Well, that was good. That was very good. GuMiho securing his 5th base as a planetary, getting a couple more Liberators, but it does really look like he's just hoping focus fire and kiting is going to be the solution. He's at a dangerous spot, in fact, where there's just not a lot of Marines, so he needs those Thors for the mutas. Also, I'm surprised that Solar hasn't at least added the option for a Greater Spire. He has the bank, but still no advancement.
I don't know that that's a playstyle that would be too beneficial, because all things considered, this army, it's durable and can easily move underneath the Thors, or excuse me, the Broodlords, I guess, but...
I don't know if it's easily. Possible. Well,
this choke's gonna work out really well with the Liberators setting up. Just focus fire on that Ultralisk. Let the Banelings get wasted, and as long as none of the Lings follow through. Well, never mind, the Marauders hold the line. They hold the door.
I didn't think they were gonna hold the door.
I thought they would die for sure. Okay,
Why?
attack on the left side here is gonna kill Hatchery. So many Marauders is so tough to deal with.
Only that was the way Game of Thrones went too.
So sad, man.
Yeah, it was a joke because it didn't. Alright, so couldn't get into the natural, but decided to go for the planetary instead. I think it's a good move.
He does burn a lot of Banelings to take this down, though.
Yeah, but he has a bank. That's why I thought it was a good move.
He had a bank.
Okay, but he already made it. He's already maxed out. Some good harassment here. There weren't any Widowmines, it's always here. They're really going to take it. And GuMiho is being just thrown around every which way. His Marauders, unfortunately, are what's trying to respond to a lot of these attacks, and they're just disjointed, not being microbed, they're being dealt with by the mutas.
I'm starting to think that Thor transformation was a bit of a mistake, but also, this is like the one time Liberator's splash isn't too bad. Corruptor's coming out, and now we might finally start seeing the potential of Broodlords after this upgrade finishes.
Yeah, maybe. He also might just be thinking that it is that time where Liberators get too high in counts, but you need the Corruptors. That's not
That's
the current
possible.
time,
Yeah.
because there's not that many Liberators, but that's usually where Terran is going at this point in time, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's almost a 20-minute game. They should have triple starports. Yeah.
He said screw it. No Broodlords. +3 weapons
Yeah.
starts up immediately.
Yeah, I think Broodlords are okay, but not great. And I mean, as long as like mass tanks are going to be very useful. So I think Corruptors are a fine way to go. And the Mutas are finally dying out in numbers, so it's really just about having any anti-air at this point.
Ooh, it's going to get a really big hit, that Widowmine. 21 kills. SCV's going to go down. He tries to get them away from the Planetary. I actually like that a ton. Thor soaks up so many of the Banelings at the backside. He almost got to save the base.
Yeah, if those SCVs have been repairing, they would have. GuMiho managed to get the bottom right base sniped, but Solar still has one healthy mining base and the other one building. He actually isn't on that many mineral patches, but GuMiho's on 28 SCVs, so, you know.
Yeah, 61 workers is not yielding that much income, all things considered.
I'm gonna get 2 Ultras for almost free. Managed to save an orbital, so he still has 3 orbitals, which is... Oh, yeah, 3 orbitals, which is good news. But I still think that Solar, especially on creep, has the better time taking a fight. But it's kind of feeling like last game, where GuMiho was making it really close despite losing out back at home.
Mule's pulled off of mining. Never feels good.
No, it does not. He just once again into the house.
I really do favor GuMiho coming in, because you know what? A lot of these ultras are really low. The fact they didn't kill them, well, now transfuses are going into them, I suppose.
Energy-based units here, right? Well, I mean, Solar does not have that much of a bank anymore, and these bases are now super, super important. So if he loses this army, GuMiho might be able to snowball, but this is GuMiho's only army where Solar maybe has a couple more Banelings.
Oh. So many Marauders just going to soak that front line hit, but not the way he wanted it to. The Banelings crashed right on through. The Corruptors take out the Liberators, but the Marines take out the Corruptors, so, I mean, the Ultras are still the bigger problem, I feel.
Oh my god, the Banelings trying to get those beautiful connections so close to it as well. Solar managing to still have an okay... Yeah, that is true. But, you know, he rebuilt the bottom right, so he still has mining. And this is like... Yeah, it's kind of exactly what I thought. Like, GuMiho can't make anything more. Handful of Marines, I guess, but Solar can, like, barely make a couple of Banelings and an Ultra every now and then.
I think one of the scary things, though, is, like, Solar might not realize how dire straits GuMiho really is with this, right? Not aware that there's no bank. His trades have been kind of sketchy. I think this is going to be a Solar game on money alone.
Well, taking fights off of creep offensively is always going to be dangerous for him.
Couple of Widowmines still getting shots off. Not bad.
Oh, it's so dangerous. He just picked up all of his units.
Oh, this never got fully repaired, by the way. I think
he ran out of money.
Yeah. Oh, God. You don't really see that happen too often.
GuMiho's going to snipe a very important morning base. Solar doesn't have enough to rebuild another one. He's going to in a second. There we go. Don't build anything else.
GuMiho can't build anything else himself either, right? Like, this is such a game of like who's more poor, who needs a government bailout more.
Yeah, right. Finding the Queen is a pretty good deal for GuMiho. Those were a lot of chance uses, but then again, GuMiho's also losing his medevacs, so... Oh, God, where is this really gonna go? Marauders don't do so well against those Lings.
It's a shame. If he could have saved those, this would have been super helpful going forward. Lings chase off the SCVs from mining. GuMiho will try and take on the Mutas. Not too many of them.
I guess GuMiho wants a couple more Marauders because he's bothering to remake refineries. This is such a scrappy game that usually it's like, good thing Marines are good, and you just like tap that Marine button.
Yo, Sola's long distance mining is better than GuMiho's close distance mining. He's sitting on 60 drones. It's a pretty saturated count.
Wow, man, but all those Marauders dying. I don't think he has an army that can actually take on Ultras anymore.
But you know what? Its Corruptors are the only reliable anti-air. They're not fast enough to chase down these medevacs, so mobility may be key for GuMiho.
I mean, yeah, if he can take one Ultra at a time, 12 Lings at a time, there's a chance. GuMiho's even rebuilding SCVs, man. Like, he still has production.
They both kind of reset the game to. I know we're 24 minutes in, folks, but it's gonna feel more like 14. Well, 14 with ultras, I guess, but still 14 minutes in, right? Just because the income's not there.
I mean, I think Solar should play the way that he is right now, which is just securing one base entirely. Because whenever he can afford 1 more Ultra or 3 more Baneling, I think is better than when GuMiho can afford 6 more Marines or 2 more Marauders. But
oh, this run by catching this freshly made SCVs.
He doesn't really want to stim either, funnily enough.
Yeah, if you can avoid it. He's sniping off Banelings, though. Some impressive control this late in the game out of GuMiho.
It has to be the perfect control.
Man, I really want to just build a bunker down here, though. It's insane how much, like, a couple of mutas and then a small handful of run-bys, like...
Yeah.
This base is so important to him, and he keeps losing it to silly things.
Lings get so much better against what GuMiho's trying to do, too. GuMiho's trying to get all Marauders with the Ultras, but now they're going to die to Ling run-bys. Well, not that many, but...
Well, if they get caught in the rally, they will, yeah, like this guy here.
Yeah, it's got to be careful, but he does manage to take out a group of... I mean, talking about GuMiho keeping every unit possible he can alive. While Lings are cheap, that is still the same fact of Solar. Solar's only on 1 mining base.
Oh, he was hoping to get a base snipe. That would have been phenomenal if he could have, of course, but not going to be the case. Wouldn't tickles the Ultra. Lings get on top of some mining SCVs, but GuMiho now pounces on top of the Baneling nest. Oh, this is a big loss!
Tech goes down. Baneling and Spire. No more Corruptors, no more Mutas, no more Banelings.
But so this goes down to that mobility part of the equation we talked about before. Like, obviously the attack on the top didn't go very well, but he was able to use that time to then go south and...
Wait, what? Oh, no, GuMiho. Oh, I think he kind of F2'd. That was weird. A lot of Mirage just ran into a bunch of Banelings. Okay, well, that wasn't so good. I was going to say, like, Solar only had really a lot of Ultras there. If GuMiho had a bigger army, a slightly bigger army, that could be really dangerous.
The reinforcements come in.
Oh, big surround. This is going to be it.
He's overstimmed.
Yeah, GG.
Oh my god, what a game. What a game. Game number 2 goes to Solar.
Oh, man.
I am loving the way Solar's playing, but GuMiho's got me going 100% too. Like, this is over the top awesome.
I can't believe... I would not believe both Zergs got 3-0s over the Terrans, but I do believe it was this close. GuMiho and Solar. Really cool.
Well, game 3 comes up, and it could be the deciding match. You know, Solar might lock this down with a 3-0, but this is a completely different looking series than what we saw with Rogue and Beyond.
Yeah. Blood Boil is the 3rd map.
God, I haven't seen Blood Boil in God knows how long.
Well, it's gotta make its way around sometime. Ready?
Yeah, whatever the players are.
I assume they're ready. It's a lot of chit chat.
Crank needed something.
Or they weren't ready.
Alright, well, looks like we're good to go this time, so just hop into it. Also giving a good friendly evening hello to Logan. Nice to see you in chat, man. But okay, if you guys have just joined us on the broadcast tonight, it is a qualifying match to send one of these two over to IEM Shanghai. However, it is a best of 5, and one win away from locking down that spot. In the top left, we got the blue Zerg, Solar.
In the bottom right, has the red Terran, it's GuMiho.
So, not so secret, Zarmgrab and I were recently just down in California, meeting with some Blizzard folks. And while I can't talk about what we were doing down there, we did have a side conversation later in the evening with some of the folks who do work at Blizzard. And one of the topics that got brought up was, you know, would changing Blood Boil be enough? Because for those who don't know, this base is no longer gold mineral patches. It was, and it was really abusive and good and favorable for Zerg. But the question now is, because this might be, well, a non-factor for this game, Zombie Grub.
Yeah, I was like, keep talking. That early drone scout ended up being for more than just scouting. I suppose GuMiho going for a proxy or triple Rex Reaper again was maybe also a reason for it.
This is kind of cute because I guess you do think, like, do you need to scout? I just assumed it was a drone scout too, but do you need to scout? Like, let's assume that this wasn't for the hatchery, but it was intended for a scout. Would you need to? It's been 3x Reaper all the way through. Like, you can guess for it.
Not 9% of the games versus Terran, I would say no, because the Overlord will see something in time to respond to it, but I was going to say, a proxy in particular might have been good. That's obviously not what he was scouting for. So, GuMiho, speaking a lot about scouting, GuMiho is not scouting with an SCV. If you thought that your opponent was playing a lot of early pools, then you would maybe see it, but otherwise, it's not very popular at all. So the Reaper is going to get there pretty damn late. At least it is a factory opener.
But I mean, this is like coming at the back end of like a CC. This is like, I guess it's not greedy in terms of like what it would have been in the past, but it's something where like all those minerals in that command center are going to be necessary to have been diverted in a different direction, which is this way. Roaches coming out is what it's going to be.
Yeah, the Reaper is going to be able to scout it without, in time. It's not going to be just roaches suddenly and then know what's up.
He was in position to catch the Reaper.
Even then, I think GuMiho might have pushed past it. He sees the Roachborn. I mean, he has to wait for his factory to be finished.
This is where it gets so deceptive, though. Because this looks like a one-base Roach Warren. And he's got to be, like, confused with the timing of this, right? Because 3 roaches, a Ravager comes across the map for an all-in. Like, you've got time on Blood Boil. It's such a big frickin' map. But he's not going to have time on Blood Boil. Because really, they're coming from over here.
He's going to scout the Natural. Come in. Okay, well. So a Cyclone is on the way, and yeah, I mean, it's not as much time to prepare. The Cyclone preparation is the best preparation, so I don't know if this is quite as perfect as Solar was hoping for. Now he's going to have to do a little bit of footwork to really make it work.
Oh, that bunker's not coming down, that's for sure.
Well, that's already pretty good news for Solar. The GuMiho didn't already have a bunker.
I mean,
the Cyclone is the fuck out there, though.
Losing the depots, a very deadly supply block is possibly on the way. The Overlord's providing the high ground vision so it can continue to volley down. Or he could. Actually, the Overlord's not quite in position right now.
There you go. GuMiho's going to lose SCVs repairing, but it is the better alternative to just letting those units in. When he has like 3 Cyclones, you can feel pretty confident against the Roaches, but until then, you got to be careful.
And he did get a bunker up too. The auto attack trade there with the Cyclone and the Ravager almost didn't go well.
Damn, Ravager's at the range. The Cyclone almost dying is a big deal here.
Yeah, actually,
he almost ticking it over.
If the Overlord was in position, he could have sniped it off that cliff. That's for sure in range, but...
Okay. I'm not so sure about the medevac choice to BH, but I guess a Liberator couldn't be much better for Ravagers. But the point is, 2 Cyclones. If he could afford a 3rd one, he should be good to go, but it's about his supply right now.
He's also just... the bunker might be down, but he's got to keep pulling back. He's going to lose his production buildings.
The supply block might just be what really kills GuMiho. That 3rd one should be like almost out if everything was going perfectly. And instead it's gonna die.
Oh my god.
Okay, you need to pick up the Cyclone. That's actually game. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
The bunker.
Oh, got the medevac
down.
with the bunker too.
Oh man. GG.
Oh, that couldn't have gone worse for him.
What?
Okay, I tell you right now, Solar's feeling good because you know what? Not only did he just qualify to IEM, he just killed the GSL champion. Like, what?
Yeah, 3-0. I mean, come on now. Come on.
That was, like I said, it was a 3-0 the same way Rogue versus Beyond was a 3-0, but those were 2 very, very different games. And I got to give it up to GuMiho. Like, all things considered, he's dead, but he played really well. Credit to Solar where it's due. He's the one who qualified.
Yeah.
So next up, I think we have a... Wait, what?
What's up?
The match they just told us in chat isn't... There's no way that's a thing yet. I'm looking at the bracket at least.
Is a thing yet? Isn't it? Yeah, it's a qualifying match.
Yeah, but are they playing? Is what I'm saying. On my screen, it's showing the bracket 2 rounds behind. Oh, I said refresh. Okay, never mind. Okay.
I was really confused.
So was I.
Okay.
That's why it didn't make any sense. But okay, next up is going to be a qualifying match from the losers bracket. We are going to once again see some more Byun. He'll be taking on the Korean Zerg Penguin, who was showing some pretty good games yesterday if you tuned in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't mind continuing with TVZ though. It's kind of cool getting to compare these players against one another. So, congratulations also to Dark, who did qualify through the series Wardy was casting. I think Wardy's now covering Maru and Trust. I don't know if I'm so jealous of that right now. You know, in the past I would have been insanely jealous that we didn't get to cast Maru, but I'm really glad we got to cast Rogue. So if I had to like pick and choose between the 2 rare cards here, I'd pick Rogue every time, I think.
Exactly. After the games he showed, glad we picked him.
Well, I guess we're going to play a small break while we get this next series going. They got to do vetoes, I believe. So, Byun versus Penguin. It's going to be a TVZ. Let me update the overlay here, too. And just to quickly note, because I know somebody out there is going to be confused, this is not my insanity, or excuse me, well, not my insanity, especially, it's not Psystorm Gaming's Penguin from North America. This is a Korean Zerg player named Penguin. He's shown a lot of good games through the Alima League and other online events, so qualifying yesterday, I think you can be excited for some of his games coming up versus Byun. That being said, it is still versus Byun, so be back in a bit, guys.